Hey everybody. Hey. So it's Danielle here, Danielle Zeiss. I'm the co-founder and team nutritionist for Heal Your Adrenal Fatigue, our lovely collaboration. For those of you guys who are new to us, we're a collaboration of different health professionals that have come together to help people overcome adrenal fatigue and the struggle because it's so real once and for all. So I'm just getting situated because I have this going on Instagram and on Facebook Live. So thanks to you guys who are joining me so far. This is so exciting. So what I want to talk about today, and feel free by all means to ask questions as we go. I just want to make sure I can see where these questions are going to be. Let me see here. Yeah, so I'm going to try to answer your questions as we go, but what I want to talk about today is simple tips with food and how you can use food to just spark your energy. Because if you're feeling tired, one thing that I've learned, and I've been there in the trenches with you guys. I had stage 3 adrenal fatigue myself. I know what it's like to feel frustrated. There's so much conflicting information out there. It can feel really overwhelming, and food can become way more stressful than it ever should be. I mean, we have enough to deal with without having to worry about what we're going to eat all the time, when we're going to eat it, and how we're going to eat it. And the tips I want to share with you guys today are tips that I feel are like pretty basic, pretty simple. It doesn't matter what type of diet you follow, if you're keto, if you're vegetarian, paleo, Mediterranean, whatever diet you may be on, even if you're just starting out and you still follow the standard American diet, this sort of stuff is stuff that you can apply to any diet, but it can make a huge shift in how you feel. And what's so cool about food and why I'm passionate about this, and the reason I even got into nutrition in the first place, was because when I was really struggling with my adrenals, before I even was a nutritionist, I realized that a couple simple tweaks with food could make a really big difference, and make a really big difference quickly. And then like on top of that, if you make those little tweaks and you stick with them for a longer time, that's when the huge shifts really start to come. So it doesn't have to be complicated, it doesn't have to be stressful, and I'm excited to share these tips with you guys. And like I said, hi Bianca, hey to everybody joining me live, this is so fun. Feel free to ask questions as we go, but I'm excited to jump in. So these are my top tips for making eating for energy awesome and easy and not complicated. So here's my first tip. Number 1, fuel and stabilize your energy with breakfast. And these days you probably heard a lot about intermittent fasting. For some of you guys, you might actually be trying this out, might be working awesome. But for those of you guys who know, and those of you who have adrenal fatigue right now, you probably know all too well how hard mornings can really be. So if you are on the intermittent fasting train, something that I do recommend is, wherever you are on your journey, is just like having a really good breakfast. And I'm curious, like, what do you guys like to have for breakfast? Feel free to post in the comments. What do you guys have for breakfast? Are you guys having healthy smoothies? Are you an egg person? Do you love your oatmeal? What do you think of when you think breakfast? And can I challenge you to maybe, if you are the type of person who still kind of thinks about bagels and toast and cereal and like carbs in the morning, like heavy carbs in the morning, can I challenge you guys to think a little bit different? Oh, Bianca, you're on the eggs and green trains. Eggs and greens, that's awesome. So right now I live in Korea, so it's actually my, Wednesday morning here. So yeah, I'm thinking about breakfast already, but in Korea, so cool, like their breakfasts are totally different from what we might eat in the West. So they may have like fish with a little bit of kimchi, with some egg, with some rice, with some soup. It's kind of totally different than like our standard breakfasts in the West. But I think there's something really cool to take away from that, because breakfast doesn't always have to look like these traditional breakfast foods that we think of. And when you have a really good breakfast, and when you have a protein-focused breakfast, guys, this can really transform your morning, especially if you're somebody who wakes up really sluggish, really tired. Having a protein-focused breakfast, something like eggs, something like greens, like Bianca, like what you're doing, this can be a really nice way to stabilize your energy for the whole morning through, but also fuel some awesome energy for your morning. So Nina, you're saying you're always stuck for breakfast ideas. Okay, I have some ideas that I can share with you guys. So like Bianca, like you said, excuse me, eggs and some mixed veggies. Super easy peasy, just chop those veggies, make a quick scramble. Doesn't have to be a lot of work. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you know. One of my go-tos, if I do feel like having a little bit more carb in the morning, instead of having something like toast, I'll go for sweet potato. And I love adding something like sweet potato to my scramble, maybe with a little bit of avocado on the side. And then like have dinner or have lunch for breakfast. Like we do that here in Asia, and it's delicious, and it can really be awesome for your energy. So thinking of things like have some chicken, have some fish, have some veggies. And if you want even just a protein shake, not going too crazy with the fruit in your protein shake, just like a really good quality protein powder. I think this is like a nice option for the vegetarians and vegans out there who struggle with their adrenals, like going with a nice protein powder so you know you're starting your day with some good protein without too many extra carbs. And you could add stuff like nut milk, some almond butter to it, just make it like really simple, super yummy. And those are the types of breakfasts that you'll notice are going to be super satiating, but also give you this like really good energy to help get you through the morning. So if you are somebody who does like to try to do who follows like an intermittent fasting diet or the time restricted eating, what I would recommend in that case is just save your fast for the evening. So stop eating earlier in the night, stretch it through the night, and then when you wake up, have a really good breakfast so that you're starting your day with some good fuel. Especially if you're burnt out, that nourishment in the morning is going to mean a lot. Okay, so number 2, this tip's totally key because it helps keep you consistent. And my second tip is batch cook the basics. So how can you make it super simple? How can you have good stuff around so that it makes it really easy to just choose good stuff? When you have good stuff around, you'll likely eat good stuff. And so one of my top tips when it comes to this is just prepare your protein. Because like when you wake up in the morning, you don't want to be like cooking chicken, you know, like going through that song and dance. I mean, eggs are easy, but in some cases, I'm lazy too, even when it comes to eggs. And in those cases, I just boil a whole bunch and then I'll have like 2 of them hard boiled for breakfast on the days that I'm in a rush. So I find when you have your protein prepared, it makes it a whole lot easier to just throw into meals and make sure that you're getting it. Because if it's not ready, that's when you tend to go for like, oh, I'll just have toast instead. I'll do something super quick. But if it's there, it makes it easy to say yes to it, and your energy is going to be super happy that you did that. So yeah, like I said, roasted chicken. Buy a roasted chicken, barbecue some steaks, like make a big batch of this stuff, grill some fish, boil some eggs. If you're vegetarian, I love making like a big bean salad, something like hearty that kind of sticks a little bit longer than a typical salad in the fridge. And you can just pick that out and like pick at it throughout the week for snacks, incorporate it as a side into your dishes. Like lots of variety there, and like so many ideas, so many options of like different types of salads you could make with that sort of thing. So love those ideas. They make a big difference. And like the same goes for your veggies too. So what I like to do is just like put on a really good movie, put on a podcast, put on your favorite album. Do you guys do this? Like what's your favorite music to dance to when you are meal prepping? I'm a big MJ fan myself. Love throwing on some of the oldies. But yeah, prepping veggies. I love, like, I don't even have a spiralizer, but if I did, this would make this process a whole lot easier. What I do is I just spiralize or like use a peeler, carrots, zucchini, I do it for onions, and I just have it in a big Tupperware, and just makes it so easy as I move throughout the week to add that sort of things either to my scrambles, to stir fries, to soups, make a meal out of them as like a side with a good source of protein. if you have them around, it's easy to have them as a snack. It's easy to throw them in the meal. And your future self is going to be like, yeah, thank you so much. This is a lot easier to say yes to. And then, of course, just like on the topic of snacks, having healthy stuff to snack on around. So when you do feel hungry, it's just there for you. So for instance, I just like having like low glycemic fruits. So having apples around, making like a really nice trail mix and just have that in the car or keep a little bit in your backpack or purse. Just if you need a little something to take the edge off, you have it. Another one of my go-tos when it comes to snacks is just like when I make my morning smoothie, I make extra. And then I put it in my tumbler and I just throw it in my backpack and bring it with me to work. And I put it in my backpack, I take it to work, and then I can drink it later as a snack. I know it's balanced. I know it's delicious because I probably had some for breakfast. Super easy peasy. Nina says, please save this live if you can. My battery is going to die. Okay, Nina, I totally will. You can find it on this page. You're tired of apples and berries. I hear you. And so, okay, what else? What else could we snack on? I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I just like munch on half an avocado with hemp hearts on it with some salt, sea salt and some lime. I feel like that's kind of satiating. Apples, berries, oranges are really good this time of year too. Don't go crazy with them, but like munch on fruit. But when you're having something like fruit, pair it with a nice source of protein and a little bit of fat too, just to help make it a nice balanced snack. So what can you pair that orange with, right? Could you add some cashews on the side? I love like, what else could you have? I was going to say, I really love having it with like, I really like back in the day when I ate more dairy, so I would have it with like a really nice organic cottage cheese. If you're following like a dairy-free diet, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but like coconut yogurt, something like that. Seaweed with hummus, so good. And yeah, Bianca, totally like something that we do a lot here in Korea, and that's one of my go-tos too. If I have leftover chicken, I love wrapping it in like a little seaweed snack with some of my pre-shredded veggies, and I just like eat it like that with a little piece of avocado sometimes not, just on its own. Super yummy. Yeah. And how can you make it fun? How can you make like the process of prepping super fun and then like don't make a big thing of it, So I feel like it doesn't have to take the song and dance that we always kind of maybe attribute meal prepping to. It'll go by a lot quicker than you think. And sometimes I just trick myself. I'm like, okay, Danielle, just chop like one cucumber today, or just chop one zucchini, and like at least you'll have that. And normally once I get in the groove, I just keep going. So can you trick yourself? Trust me, that's like, it works well. If you're looking for more inspiration and specifics when it does come to food, we do have several meal plans available. I just wanted to mention this in our Adrenal Recovery Revolution, which is our adrenal membership program. We have several meal plans available with all these different recipes for all these different types of diets. And that's our monthly membership program, where we offer like a really clear roadmap for adrenal fatigue recovery, along with live weekly coaching calls, which we have a coaching call coming up shortly after this. So for those of you guys, for those of the insiders watching now, I'll see you in that call soon. I make coconut yogurt with berries, walnuts, honey, or maple syrup. That sounds yummy, but it's all tiring. Michelle, I hear you. I know it can get boring. What about like switching things up? One of my other go-to snacks before I move on to the next one is like when I'm feeling lazy, I often feel lazy when it comes to food a lot, and I'm often in a hurry, is like a bulletproof style tea. So like I love having, especially this time of year when it's a little bit more chilly, something like a cinnamon rooibos chai, but make it a little fatty. Add something like collagen to it. I don't always throw it in the blender. I have like a little hand whisk. So I'll just whisk everything together, add the hot water, like whisk it as I'm adding the hot water. And then you kind of have this like more satiating snacky tea. Super easy, really nice to sip on this time of year. And maybe offer you a little bit something different if you're tired of the old song and dance when it comes to snacking. Yeah. And so my last point, and this is a big one, is, and you guys are probably going to say like, oh, I've heard this 100 times, but I'm going to say it anyway. Watch your portions, because this is super common, and you'll notice a really big effect, especially if you overeat at a meal where you have to show up for stuff after. So for instance, it's really easy to overeat lunch, and then we feel the effects of overeating at lunch so hard, especially if we're working at the office, right? 3 o'clock hits, that high went up, but now the high is coming down. We need coffee, we need chips, we need chocolate, and we need it now just to make it through the rest of the afternoon. So if you guys can relate to feeling like this, I want you guys to just keep at the back of your mind, like digestion, that takes energy. So if you eat a really big lunch, and if you eat too much carbs at lunch, you're going to notice that your energy is going to be directed towards your belly, towards dealing with that meal, and you're not going to be the best version of yourself when it comes to being efficient at work or going about your day. You're definitely going to feel that lull. When you have too many carbs in one sitting, or when you just overeat in general, it's going to spike your blood sugar, right? And what goes up must come down, and your body's going to feel that. And I just find at night, like when we overeat at dinner, I almost feel like it's more acceptable, because after dinner, we naturally get really tired, right? So we normally just like start winding down and get ready for bed. So we don't feel the effect of that tiredness when we overeat at dinner quite as much as we do with something like lunch. So this is where I challenge you, if you do struggle with afternoon energy, like if you have to start anywhere, start with like really just being mindful of your lunch portions. And let me know, like come back and let me know how that shifts like your vibe through the day. Okay, so those were my 3 tips. What did you guys think of them? I know they might seem a little bit basic, but trust me, these are the things that can make a really big shift in your energy. And what's cool about them is they can make a big shift really quickly. Like they can make a big shift today. And if you follow them consistently, this way of eating, it's really supportive. It's going to support healthy hormonal balance overall. So it's win-win, right? That's what I love about it. It can give you a quick win while supporting like longer term feeling awesome. Yeah. So let me know how you guys like this stuff. If you're wondering what else you can do to get your energy back, if you're kind of just starting out on this adrenal fatigue journey, I want to welcome you guys to our community. Make sure that you grab our recovery starter kit if you haven't already. I will link it in this post. And yeah, just trust me when I say these simple basic tips are super powerful. So let's just quickly recap. Number 1, fuel up your mornings with a bang-in breakfast. Well, what are you guys going to have for breakfast tomorrow? Start thinking about it. Feel free to share. Batch the basics so you're prepared and so that you're ready to make really nutritious decisions. And number 3, be mindful with your portions. Be careful of how much you eat in one sitting. But at the same time, don't restrict yourself too much. Adrenal fatigue is a condition of depletion. We always say that. So when it comes to nourishing yourself back up, make sure that you're just like eating really balanced meals and that you're satiating yourself, but just don't go crazy, right? So I really hope this stuff has been helpful for you guys. Thanks, Michelle, for sticking with me through this. And Bianca, you too. Hey, Sully, you just joined. We're just wrapping up, but thank you guys. This is so fun. This is the first time I've done a live on both Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So I hope everybody could like see me okay. And I'm excited for the next one. Let me know what you guys want to hear about, okay? Okay, thanks guys. Have an awesome rest of your night. Bye.